Good morning. Reed here, back at Orchestra Farm. A video cut off, but there's a bunch of volunteer potatoes shooting up. Oh yeah, and look, volunteer thistle. Yeah, what a great thing, huh? Gotta love that. The thistle doesn't care. Anyway, life keeps ticking along, and I guess I keep ticking with it. It's interesting life and moving along. Ooh, we got flowers here coming on. That's lovely to see. I'll keep it. This apple tree, which looked like it had been rung on the bottom, has a bunch of apples coming on it too. Not apples, but the blossoms anyway. Hopefully it's warm enough for the bees. That rhubarb patch over there and the currants with all their lovely blossoms happening. So it's spring. Lots blooming, and that's lovely. It's funny. I use funny very optimistically at times. In the realm of, I think I'm trying to track myself across time and to see there's certain moods that happen at different seasons and such, more or less than others, and a postulation around, the wintertime can be a really insular period in the realm of everyone's kind of tucked away in their home space or off to other parts of the world for warmer weather or whatever it might be, and connection at times seems complicated, and just a feeling of even though I got several kids and a lovely wife, it's still possible to feel lonely. And the question was how to either move with that or through that, or just acknowledge it and realize that there's not always an availability to connect and to come together and live in a way that you really want to with others, and I guess that's okay, but the question mark of how do our own stories feed into that? My wife was asking me this morning. She's like, maybe your own story is really feeding into this, Reed. And I was like, oh, you may easily have a point there, and at the same time I don't 100% go along with that, in terms of I refuse to allow my past stories to meddle with my current life trajectory moments. There's the rhubarb there, hiding in the grass. I gotta really come back around for those. But I'm curious out there, how do the stories you tell yourself or that play out in your head affect your current life? Oh, there's the rhubarb right there. I gotta come in here and do some serious weeding if I want this rhubarb to live, eh? Oh yeah. Anyway, and I think that's it. I think when we when things that you want to grow are getting overrun by other things, those are potential different storylines that are taking place, and you kind of got to get in there and weed them out. I almost sang you guys a little song this morning that I was thinking of. It was one of those kind of happy-go-lucky songs, but also depressed. And so it's just kind of the space where I'm in right now. I'm kind of questioning think about my cousin Sarah in relation to she's like, feel free to call me. I'm like, I probably will. As I'm, just considering who do I have in my life that has time, space to connect and chat and talk about all different things going on. Anyway, I'm curious, what do you guys do? Do you just have a therapist that you go to every time? Oh, look at that lovely flower. or a friend network that's good enough to handle whatever you're thinking about, or family that's up for the task of communicating with you around whatever needs communicating. I'm curious and interested to hear from you. If you feel like typing a little message below, or ringing me if you have my number, or whatever form seems to make sense. That's cool. It's always nice to hear from people. It's a strange thing on the age of the internet, where there's always people posting different things to different social media sites or whatever. But unless you have some message that people find is like super sexy or overly dramatic, seems like there's not a lot of engagement that happens there. And at least that's my experience. And that's fine, whatever. Maybe that's not the place to do it. But my ponderance is, what's going on for you? That's some of what's going on for me. Okay, so this apple here, stuck in the ground. These leaves look like they're dying, so that's not really going to make it. Whereas this one over here, quite possibly will. It's off this lovely apple. Oh, and look at these tent caterpillars. Sure. Yeah, that feels nice on my fingers. Let's pull those off. Some on this one here. Was on this part. Oh yeah. And oh yeah, right around there and here. Oh yeah, there you go. Get those seeds off, and oh yeah, there they are. Let's just get rid of that. I wonder how many. Oh yeah, and up here. Let's just take off some of those guys. Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes I feel like that's what it's like when someone has a problem. It's like, oh geez, do I want to get my fingers all messy with those tent caterpillars and smushing them up? And if you got kids, you've probably done some gross things to care for them. And chatting with some friends over the weekend at a wedding, which was quite lovely to be at. And the notion of it's kind of easy to deal with a 2 or 3 year old who's having a bad day, and just have some patience for them. They're still figuring it out, learning how. Whereas with adults, it can be a lot more difficult because you're like, you're an adult, get it together. And I mentioned this idea of we're all actually 3-year-olds until we prove otherwise, and it's a case-by-case thing. And I mean that also from the context of skill sets. Maybe you're not 3 in terms of your emotions, but you know how to drive a car. If you don't know how to drive a car, you're kind of 3. Nothing personal, just a matter of and you probably wouldn't just take the keys from somebody if they give them to you. You'd be like, I don't know how to drive. And how do we know how to drive in our different ways? In all the different aspects of life and skill sets. Most people aren't so much of a polymath that they can just literally do everything. We're all learning something, and so just give that extra bit of grace for a moment to recognize we haven't all learned everything yet. Anyway, I hope you're having too much fun. That life's going well for you. It's actually pretty good over here, even though I have my ups and downs. I have dynamic highs and dynamic lows sometimes. It's, I guess, part of my nature or something. Part of my nurture, hard to say. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Have a great day and have too much fun.